Hi, and welcome to Mama Time Yoga. My name is Charlotte. Today's workout is all about learning the foundations for power yoga. So yoga to really exercise and build strength in our bodies. And of course, we're always going to end with some stretches and some mindfulness to really center ourselves and give ourselves that time that we really need, especially for mothers. So this class is for anyone. I've designed it specifically for mothers, so it doesn't matter if you are, recently postpartum or your kids are a little bit older. I do recommend that you do at least have clearance from your doctor though to get started with exercise. And if you have any other health concerns, that you've been cleared by a woman's health physio specifically. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off in child's pose. So coming onto the mat, knees nice and wide apart, big toes together. Let's go ahead, sink the hips back to the heels and just reach the arms forward, extending them as you release the chest and forehead down onto your mat. Giving yourself this moment to really settle into your practice. Grounding down onto the mat, letting the body fully release here. And let's just start to connect with our breath. So big inhale through the nose, feeling the belly expand. Big exhale through the nose, feeling the belly draw back in. Big inhale through the nose. Big exhale, fully release. And just take a couple more at the pace of your own breath, really feeling the air move through the body. When you're ready, we'll start to warm our body up. So just go ahead, walk the hands over to the right side, keeping the lower body exactly where it is, really reaching the fingertips over towards the left side, big side body stretch. And then taking it over to the left side, reaching through those right fingertips. Breath here. Coming back to center. And keeping the elbows on the ground now. Bend the elbows. Take the hands together over the head. And see if you can take the hands to the back of the head. So really just stretching through the back of the arms here. One breath. And then release. And we'll slowly make our way up onto all fours. So hands come under the shoulders, knees come under the hips. Spreading the fingers nice and wide here, setting up a really good foundation. So you want to press out of the hands so you're not sinking down through the shoulders. Nice and lifted. Belly draws in towards the spine. And we'll just take a couple cat-cows here to warm up through the spine. So inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone, open up through the front of the body. And as you exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone round through the back body, pressing away from the floor. Take two more like that with your breath. Big inhale, open up the front of the body, really opening through the shoulders and the chest. Exhale, round the back body, pressing away from the floor. One more, just like that. Big inhale. And big exhale. Coming back to that neutral spine. From here, you're going to keep the right hand on the ground, and you're just going to rotate that right foot to the side of your mat so that you can open up into a side plank that's supported with that right knee down. So the right arm is under that right shoulder, and you're just rotating so that your hips are stacked and your shoulders are stacked. From here, we're just gonna reach those left fingertips up and over, big side body stretch. And then from here, we're just gonna engage the legs and press away, coming up onto that right knee. Left hand grazes the left leg, right fingertips reach up and over, side body gate stretch. Beautiful, just continuing to get warm. And we'll take that back down to all fours and take that over to the other side. So the foot swivels to the other side of the mat. The right leg extends right out from that opposite knee. Hips stack over each other, shoulders stack over each other. The left hand is under the left shoulder, and let's reach the right fingertips up and over. Nice supported side plank. And then engaging the legs, coming up. Right leg gently grazes, right hand gently grazes the leg, left fingertips up and over. And slowly bringing it back down onto all fours again. So setting up into that foundation again. And from here, we're gonna go into a little breath exercise. So we really learn how to breathe so that we engage our abdominals and our pelvic floor in the right way. So this is really critical postpartum, no matter what stage you are. It's great if you're a little bit earlier postpartum and you're getting this down now. But if this isn't something that you've done, it doesn't matter when you start. It's still a good practice to get into. So I'm just gonna sit down to talk you through it. You can do this in all fours. I prefer to do it that way because it's more of a gravity neutral position for the pelvic floor, but if you prefer to do it seated or lying down, that's fine too. So on the inhale, you're gonna soften and release through the abdominals and through the pelvic floor. And I want you to think of your pelvic floor as having 4 points. So you've got your pubic bone, your tailbone, and your 2 sit bones. So when I say soften and release, you want to think of that area widening and releasing and letting go. And then on the exhale, we're going to engage the core into the belly, and we're going to engage the pelvic floor. So thinking of those same 4 points coming in together and up. So all of those areas are coming in together. Now, it's a really subtle movement, so especially with the pelvic floor, you shouldn't be clenching through your glutes or anything like that. You're just really engaging that pelvic floor area, not the glutes, and feeling that whole area come up and in together. So let's go ahead and try that, whatever position that you want to be in. We'll just do a few so we get the breath with it. So inhale, soften and release those areas. On the exhale, drawing the belly in towards the spine, engaging the pelvic floor up and in. Using your breath, inhale, relax and release. Exhale, belly draws in, pelvic floor engages up and in, drawing it all in together. Not tensing up any other part of the body. Let's take a few more. Inhale to soften. Exhale to engage. Inhale to soften, release. Exhale, engage. Really subtle, just starting to get that flow with the breath. Inhale, soften. Exhale, engage. Let's take one more. Inhale, release. Exhale, engage. And on your next breath, just come back to that neutral position, letting everything go. That gets easier the more you do it. So if that felt challenging, just keep coming back to this until it starts to feel more natural and you build up your strength in that area. From here, we're going to move to a down dog position, and we're going to start to use that breath work. So hands just come slightly in front of the shoulders, tuck the toes under, and lift the hips all the way up. Keeping those fingers spread nice and wide, pressing into each fingertip through the whole hand, and bending through the knees just a little bit if you need to, just to help you reach those hips up a little more, pressing away from the arms, nice flat back.
Heels sink towards the ground, but don't worry if they don't get there. And let's just take a couple breaths just to pedal out the heels, bending one knee and then the other, alternating, just waking up through the backs of those legs, releasing the head, neck, and shoulders. And then from here, we're going to just practice engaging through the belly as we go from a three-legged dog into a cheetah position and then step through into a lunge. So on the inhale, we're going to put all of our weight into that left foot. And as you inhale, reach those right toes up. So this is our three-legged dog, really building strength through those arms and legs. As you exhale, you're going to draw the knee in and start to bring the shoulders over the wrist, coming into almost a three-legged plank as you really draw the knee in towards the nose, pressing away from the floor. We'll take one more and then step into a lunge. Inhale, coming back to that three-legged dog. Hips go back, toes reach up. Exhale, bringing the knee through, shoulders come over the wrists, and when you're ready, step that foot through between the hands. Now, if the foot only got to the middle of the mat, just go ahead, pick it up, walk it so it's further between those hands. The knee is right over the ankle. And then just sink that left knee down. Beautiful work. Let's take a breath here. Nice low lunge. Ignoring those very loud crows. Press into the hands. We're going to tuck the left toes under, step back into our downward facing dog. Beautiful. And if we're ever in down dog and your arms need a little bit of a break, feel free to come into your child's pose whenever you need. From here, we're going to take that to the other side. So inhale, all the weight goes into the right foot. Left toes extend up into our three-legged dog. Big breath in. Big exhale, bringing the knee in towards the nose. Bring the shoulders over the wrists. And then inhale, taking it back up, really using that breath to engage the core and the pelvic floor as we exhale. Big breath in, big exhale, drawing those abdominals in, that pelvic floor, and then using that strength to step the foot between the hands. And if it doesn't get there on its own, moving it there, and then sinking down to that left knee for a breath in our low lunge. Let your body soften here. Pressing back into the hands, stepping right back into our downward facing dog. Take a breath here or in child's pose. And then looking up at the top of the mat, slowly walking the feet behind the hands, coming into our ragdoll fold. Letting the body fully release over the legs. Gentle bend in the knees if you need. Let's take one breath here. And then press through the feet. Slowly roll the spine all the way up to stand. Inhale, shoulders drop down the spine, arms reach up. Hands meet at the top. Exhale, bring them down to heart center. Taking a breath here. So from here, we're going to move into a vinyasa sequence. So that is our flow, and we'll move through that quite a few times. So we're going to work through the basics in this first round. So let's all start together. Let's inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, gentle bend in those knees as you fold forward over those legs. As you inhale, you're going to look up, coming to a flat back, hands to shins, shoulders drop down the spine. Exhale, folding over those legs. From here, plant the hands down, shoulder width, step the feet back into plank. Option to drop down onto the knees here, a kneeling plank, whatever supports you best at the moment. Take an inhale here, shoulders are right over the hands, and then on the exhale, you're going to take the elbows straight back to graze the ribs, and we're going to come all the way down onto the belly. Untuck those toes. On the inhale, keep the hands right where they are under the shoulders. We're gonna come up. Inhale, peel the head, chest, and shoulders off the ground, tops of the feet. Press into the floor. Belly's drawn in, coming into our cobra pose, opening through the front of the body. Exhale, come back down. From here, pressing into the arms, coming into that kneeling plank. Tuck the toes, coming back to our down dog. Let's just take one breath here. Looking forward to the top of the mat, step the feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale to fold. Press through the feet, inhale, rise all the way up, all the way up. Hands sweep over the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're gonna start to build onto that sequence. We're gonna move into a sun salutation B, and I'll give you some different options to move into as well from there. So sun salutation B starts with our chair pose. So taking the feet right under the hips, you're gonna sink the hips down and back. Knees stay so that you can see your toes, and you can keep the hands at heart center, or you can reach the arms up. Really sink those hips back, belly draws in, heart is lifted, engaging those lats. Let the shoulder blades sink down the spine. Big breath here. Feel those legs engage. Exhale, we're gonna fold over the legs. Release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Planting those hands under the shoulders, fingers nice and wide. Stepping back to plank. Now, option to move through the same sequence we went through the first time, taking those knees on the ground and going all the way to the belly. Or you can move into a different sequence, moving through our chaturanga. If you've got a little bit more arm strength, so inhale, taking the shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, you're gonna still keep those elbows going straight back, but you're gonna stop halfway this time, and you're gonna press forward and take the upper body up into an up dog. So the knees are lifted off the floor here. You're pressing up out of those hands, out of the shoulders, really opening up through the front of the body. And then exhale, either pressing back up into plank or rolling back into our downward dog to get there. We're all meeting in our downward facing dog. And of course, as always, you can come into your child's pose if you need to take a breath there. Let's take one big breath together here. Exhale, release. Staying in that down dog, we'll move through our three-legged dog. So big inhale, right toes lift up. Big exhale, stepping through, bringing that knee through the chest, engaging through the core, and then stepping it into that low lunge. Knee stays off the ground this time, so you can either sink that knee down if you need to, or we're gonna move into our high lunge. So keeping that knee off the ground, and you can reach the arms up as you engage through the legs, pressing away from the ground. Belly draws in, tailbone stays tucked under. Finding a breath here. And then releasing the hands back down to frame the foot. And we'll move through our vinyasa here. Or you can come right back into your downward facing dog or into child's pose. So just listening to your body and what suits you today. So if you'd like to move through that vinyasa, stepping the foot back to plank, option to do the kneeling plank and drop all the way down to the belly, finding your flow. Inhale forward, exhale coming down all the way or halfway. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, really feeling through those arms now. Take a breath here. We'll repeat that on the other side. Inhale, left leg reaches up this time. Exhale, draw the belly in as you draw that knee up and forward. Step it through between the hands, getting it where it needs to be for correct alignment. And then coming into that lunge with the arms reaching up, so keeping the knee lifted or dropping it down, whatever you're comfortable with. Let's inhale, coming all the way up, strong legs, shoulders drop down away from the ears, belly draws in. Taking a breath here.
Exhale, release those hands, frame the foot, finding where you'd like to go from here, moving through the vinyasa or stepping straight back into down dog or child's pose. We'll all meet in down dog. If you're coming through your vinyasa, coming to plank or kneeling plank, inhale forward, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, elbows go straight back, making sure that you're not going below the elbows here. That will really mess up your shoulders. So keeping those shoulders above the elbows, moving up into your front body opening position, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a well-deserved breath here, dropping into child's pose if you need. We'll take 2 breaths here. And looking up at the hands, just stepping the feet all the way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. On the inhale, we're gonna drop the hips down back to that chair pose, lift the arms up or bring them to heart center, really engaging the belly, lifting the heart up, sinking those hips down as far as you can, and then coming all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful work here. So from here, we're gonna step out facing the long edge of our mat. We're gonna continue to work through those legs. So taking the toes out, the heels nice and in, and we're gonna just come into a squat pose. So a wide leg squat, also called horse pose in yoga, really engaging the glutes, engaging those quads, and we're just gonna move through a couple pulses here. If you're not so sure about your balance, feel free to be next to a wall or use a chair. Hands to heart center, belly drawn in, shoulders down the spine. We'll just take 10 pulses. So 1, moving with your breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Inhale, straight leg, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we're just gonna move into our warrior 2 pose. So starting facing the front of our mat, for me, it's my right toes are gonna face forward towards the short edge of the front of my mat. My left toes are gonna come to the long edge of my mat, and the side of my left foot is parallel with the short edge of the mat. And then we're bending into that front knee. So nice wide stance with the legs, shoulders are over hips, arms reach out to the side, shoulders drop down the spine, belly draws in, the knee comes out to the side. Take a breath here, looking over those right fingertips. I know we've done a lot of work on those legs, so you're probably feeling it. Keeping the legs exactly as they are, we're gonna move into our reverse warrior. Left hand comes down onto the left leg, right arm reaches up and over. Beautiful side body stretch. Inhale, coming back up. And exhale, let's straighten that right leg. And we're just gonna take it to the opposite side. So the right toes come to the long edge of the mat. The left toes go to the short edge of the mat, bending into that left knee, taking it out to the side, the left hand side so it's not drawing in, and then checking that the back edge of that right foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. Taking the arms out, shoulders over hips. You don't want to be leaning forward. Everything draws in, belly draws in, looking over those left fingertips. Nice and strong here, big breath. Taking the right hand down onto the leg, moving into our reverse warrior. Big inhale, left arm sweeps up and over. And coming back into our warrior, straightening through that left leg, and just making our way back to the top of our mat. Let's take a breath in here, arms reach up, big inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful, and we'll just start to make our way back down onto the mat. Inhale, arms reach up again. Exhale, hinge from the hips, folding over those legs. Inhale, halfway lift.
Exhale to fold. From here, we're just gonna sit down onto our mats, and we're gonna move through a little more core work. So I'll give you a few different options here. I'm currently a year postpartum, and I'm still modifying some abdominal moves. So really just focus on meeting yourself where you're at and what feels good for your body today. So we're gonna move into our boat pose. So keeping the knees bent, the feet planted on the ground. And so here I'm sitting up nice and neutral. We're just gonna focus on coming back a little bit and then coming onto those toes. So you can keep the hands under the knees, that's level 1. You can extend the arms forward, level 2. If you feel really strong in your core, lift the legs up so that the shins are parallel. I still feel that in my low back quite a bit, so I'm gonna keep my toes down and just keep them nice and light. So I'm focusing into my low belly, finding where it's right for you. And then you can either stay here, or we're gonna go with some toe taps. So I'm gonna be taking my feet up one toe at a time. If you're doing it from this position, you'll be taking one down at a time and leaving the other one there. Or you can just focus on staying here. Belly draws in, back is nice and flat. Let's go through a few rounds. So 1, finding your breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, in and out through the nose, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you do 10 more? 1, 2, 3, really feeling it in the low belly, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Coming back into that seat. Beautiful, beautiful work. Let's take the feet together, the knees nice and wide. Let's just take a breath here. If it feels okay, you can fold forward into that butterfly position. If it doesn't, be really gentle here, especially if you're newly postpartum or you're breastfeeding. You can still quite easily overstretch. So just being really gentle with your body here. We'll start to cool down this practice. Amazing work. The more you do this, the more you'll start to build up those muscles and feel really strong through your body. Let's come all the way back up. And from here, we're just gonna roll back down. So you can either come to the side, if that feels better, and roll that way, or just roll straight there. Once you're down, give those knees a big squeeze in towards the body. Really letting your body settle in to these last couple minutes as we stretch. From here, you're gonna take the arms to the side, elbows bent, knees over the hips, but still bent, and then drop the knees over to the left side, keeping the shoulders on the ground, really opening up through that right chest and shoulder. If it feels okay, you can take the gaze over to the right side. Beautiful twist through the belly. One more breath here. Slowly bringing the knees back into center. And then dropping them over to the other side. Both shoulders on the ground. Maybe looking over to the left side if it feels okay on the neck. Finding your breath. Coming back to center, giving those knees one last big squeeze in towards the body, and then exhale, releasing everything down into Savasana or corpse pose. So just allowing your body to lay comfortable on the ground. Hands are to the side, palms facing up. Feet are relaxed, allowing the toes to fall to the side. Getting yourself a blanket or whatever you need to be as comfortable as possible here.
Do not skip this part. This is the most important part, especially for mothers. You need this time to let your body settle in, soak up all the beautiful work you've just done, and have some time for you to just relax your body, relax your mind, reset your nervous system, allowing your breath to come back to its natural pace. If it feels okay for you, you can have one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, just feeling your breath move through your body, letting your whole body feel heavy and supported into the mat, relaxing the facial muscles, the space between the eyes, releasing the jaw. If any thoughts creep up while we're here, just let them drift away without judgment. Coming back to this present moment, space you've made for yourself. Taking one more breath right where you are. And let's slowly find some subtle movement back into the body, wiggling through the fingers and the toes. If it feels good to you, reach the arms overhead, getting a nice big stretch as you inhale. And then rolling over to one side just for a minute, just for a second. And then gently making your way up to a comfortable seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's take one big breath together. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you are feeling so good and strong in your body and really relaxed and nourished after that practice. If you like these kind of practices and would like to receive more pre and postnatal yoga and mindfulness, please subscribe to my channel. I'll have the link below. You can also join our Facebook group, Yoga and Mindfulness for Pregnancy and Motherhood, to connect with other like-minded women. I'll see you next time.